All right. In which case, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. All right. So, we are running, as ever, an experiment. I love my experiments. I must actually correct where I was positioned. I had it, and then I lost it. So, what's going on is, as it turns out, I'm in Steam Link right now, opposed to VR chat, or instead of virtual desktop, which is where typically I do my daily addresses from. I'm just used to how it orients, and so I don't have my eye and face tracking. But as it turns out, Steam there's a natural situation there. So my eye tracking is actually working without the external application I usually have to do. So I can't stick my tongue out at you good people. I just tried sticking my tongue out. It didn't work, and we're very upset about that. But we're more along the path of glory than we thought that we would be, because I was being very brave with some of what it is I have in mind for later on today. The timeline is tight, but we pursue these things. And then actually, we're just in better position than I thought that we were. And deciding to be able to come in with what seems to be a subpar setup, actually that's just, it feels good for myself to be satisfied or satisfied enough with oh, it's progress. Okay, where to start? I gotta start somewhere and then like stick to it. We got a lot of places to be today, and so we're gonna try and start somewhere instead of just like, oh, here we go. Like, no, it's time to begin. This is my daily address. So this is my kitty cat time, which is important to remember. And you want to operate in this moment with intentionality and integrity, which are words I want to erase from my vocabulary because sometimes I feel like they are the only words I use. Camera comes down a little bit because I just want to be able to like see me a little bit more, and maybe I'll do this in front of a mirror. Actually, I never stream in front of a mirror. That might be kind of a fun thing to try out. It probably won't last for very long. I get distracted by mirrors for obvious reasons, I assure you. Yep, I'm distracted. That did not last very long. Alright, for the audio inclined, or just perambulating around a tiny little bit. We might actually put on perambulate cam for that matter. Then we might as well talk a little bit about yesterday. The bonus little stream off the stream that I did do. I don't think we'll talk too much about that, but it did lay down kind of a neat blueprint for what I think I might like to try doing moving forward with our daily addresses as I have been doing them. Because, yeah, it's kitty cat time, and yeah, you love your kitty cat time. I thoroughly enjoy my kitty cat time, and you good people at home, you have kitty cat time as well. How marvelous. And so long as we're here, we might as well, do something with that time. And sometimes we could like play games, and I might try something like that later, which is why we're in Steam Link. We'll get to it. And as far as just I like being a kitty cat and talking a lot, I could talk about kind of whatever, because that's just kind of what we're doing here. As I've lit upon in recent streams, there's the theory of linking streams together and having storylines of my life and talking about... Richard, welcome on in. Happy to have you. And talking about where was I a handful of days ago? Where am I now? As far as my Resonite operations, how's that going? Socially, how's that going? How's me and the fish? What's my timeline looking like for moving? Lots of threads going on in my life. If you do a daily address and you're able to keep up with kind of the threads you've been talking about so far, that links together and you get a pretty cool retrospective. You look back and just see this guy's journey throughout a month. That's pretty obvious stuff. That's basic VTubing. That's vlogging. That's regular stuff. And I don't know why I feel like I'm inventing a magnificent wheel there. I don't think this is a formula that only I have it. Like, I don't know. Maybe. Because it feels like I'm the only one who has it, because it doesn't feel like enough other people are doing it, if any. I just think it's an old style. It's a little antiquated. And I don't know why that is. Or maybe it's just that anyone who does do it only does it in daily addresses in the same general time slot, but not all the way a consistent time, and they only do it for an hour. And they're super new. I still, not very many people know about Phineas Former and his daily addresses. So maybe there's other people who are also doing what I do, and I just don't know about them. Perfectly possible, and perfectly fine. I think I might like to take just a moment and light upon Seeds of Nostalgia, which I think is going to swing back shortly by the end of our little address here. So I'm just gonna touch it, and then we're gonna bounce away from it. But I recall not altogether long ago on these streams how these addresses began. And just being so nervous to do any single one of them, and that was a really fun and special time for me to look back on, and the kind of terror that comes about when you're doing anything new. I kind of miss that. Because now I just started the stream, and I was like, well, I guess it's a daily address. What should we talk about on the daily address? And just getting more the hang of what I'm doing, how I like to do it, opposed to being able to do it in the first place. And I really look back fondly on streaming being special in that way, even though it was very hard to get the hang of. And I used to have like a whole after stream like aftercare situation, and then I had to, like, before the stream get ready, and then after the stream I had to, like, oh gosh, why did I do that? And now I just feel much more standard about it, and I look back really fondly on the times when it was more special. Sometimes I get a little bit lost in how can I bring the special back, and I don't think that's the right direction to take it, but it's an understandable way to want to think. We're gonna step away from that for a little bit. We might come back, we might forget, but I think as far as finding the special, bringing the special, I want streaming to feel special again because I miss how it was special. I think there's something to it. We'll come back to that though, because mainly I'm just excited to be here, and welcome to today's daily address. We're so excited. And we have some more cool things on the way. There's some Resonite stuff. Amelia, welcome on in. I had a lovely time yesterday, which is part of what I think we might talk about in today's daily address, is just the being social updates. That went really well. Hanging out, building a little world together. That was a lot of fun, and that's one of the arcs that is being worked on, so that's a lot of fun. So, as far as Amelia brings up that she will likely be in Resonite later with her partner, husband, to work on, like, their name tag, right? That is lovely and exciting, and does lead me into why today's daily address is taking place using Steam Link, opposed to Virtual Desktop, which I typically do. I'll just give a quick aside, a quick little note for what the technical differences are there. That just seems mildly interesting to do. There are both ways to do wireless VR. Some applications handle some of the systems better than others. I like Virtual Desktop. It has more kind of granular features, I want to say. And it seems to handle more tasks a little bit more casually, a little nicer. It just feels more responsive as far as using your PC inside of VR. And I got really used to that ecosystem for my filming. In particular, it does hand tracking pretty well by emulating an index controller, which I do not have. And that's kind of still the gold standard for digit work. So right now my finger tracking doesn't work because I'm not using Virtual Desktop. That's okay. That's a decision I made actively because Resonite happens to work much better with Steam Link in my experience. In particular with those virtual controllers. I'm going to be done talking about this in like 2 more seconds. But I'm inside of Steam Link now, which means my hands are not working the way I normally like them in our daily addresses to work. And my eyes are working, which is lovely, but I can't squint how I normally squint. And I cannot stick my tongue out, so when I drink my water, you guys will not know, is he drinking water, because my tongue sticks out when I drink water, and it's not going to happen today, so I will drink water in secret, because I'm using Steam Link instead of Virtual Desktop. We're here because that works considerably better, case in point, we have just had a hydrate redeem, so I'll hydrate in a moment and demonstrate the lack of tongue action on today's daily address. Because I want to move into Resonite after the daily address. And that's something I'd been kicking around a little bit, and yesterday we accidentally figured it out early. We did it backwards. We were in Resonite, which was not a mistake. The timing was off, and my internal everything, I was just thrown for a loop. Because usually when something feels wrong, I get I can feel that. And when something feels right, I can feel that. And when things are like conflicted, you can tell, oh, it's a big ball of emotion and I'm going to have to make videos about this to uncover whatever it is that's going on. Sure. And yesterday, it did not feel wrong to be in Resonite, but something was bothering me, but I couldn't figure it out, and then I couldn't quite sort all of it out because I knew it was a longer sort than I would have been able to have time for on stream. And I wanted to give a daily address. I didn't quite understand if something was strange. Not wrong, but strange. And after ruminating, I ruminated, kind of figured it out. I love the cadence, like being on stream in Resonite is wonderful. It's just a little bit different. Serves different purposes, different activities, but it's wonderful, and I'm happy to announce, feels correct. So too does this feel correct. I'm a kitty cat. This feels lovely in its own way. And very pleased to see that Resonite does feel correct in streaming, but just learning more about where, when, how, etc. And for this to be where the daily address occurs, and we're just having a chit-chat, and then moving into Resonite after, for any other times, that feels marvelous to me, because streaming in Resonite also feels correct. We learned that yesterday, even though yesterday we accidentally did things a little bit backwards. We did Resonite first, which I didn't understand, but I didn't shy away from necessarily. Yesterday was an odd one, that's for sure. Which is why yesterday, for those who are unaware, I filmed offline, basically, the actual daily address. But even that was a strange one, too, because that was just a one-and-done long shot talking about emotionality, because I'd been seeing other people make their emotional videos, and it's like, well, I can be emotional on stream, or whatever. So, it was a strange time to be alive. It was an odd Phineas day, that's for sure. Today also, on the odd end of being Phineas. Not a big deal, but odd, a little bit. I'm moving, I'm emotional. I was up late doing job applications. It's fine. We'll talk more about it. We might. I think actually we were pretty much done with that, because I'm just excited to move into Resonite once this daily address is complete. Only because of the timeline of today, and the fact that I brought up moving just now is prudent, because stream has to stay on its time scale. And it's like, oh, it's a day off. This is my weekend. This is my Sunday right now. How lovely. I can do more. I'm free. I can do more things. And unfortunately, kind of yes, but also no, because it's just I still have a lot of things to do, and stream still has to be tidy. Part of that, though, is I have a phone interview today, right after stream. So, lovely. Unexpected a little bit. I was doing applications, and I was like, oh, well, sure. That's... Sure. And it feels so final. So, not final, but the more steps I take towards moving, obviously, the more I feel like I'm moving. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? It's wild, it's crazy, I know, it's nuts. But that's something that I've been learning. Feels really good. Thank you, Amelia. Yeah, we're excited about that. And then when I was doing the applications, that felt great. When I finished the resume, like all these steps are feeling just so super duper marvelous. And a little bit though, like, I don't know, I just get excited. And the challenge, always the challenge, is because I'm an emotional boy. When I get excited, then that's a turbulence. And I don't handle turbulences very well. And then I need to I'm moody, so I need to go sit down. And then I'm moody, so then I'm excited, and then I'm not, or whatever. And it's just turbulent. So that's okay. But I look forward to being chill over there. That good, you know. I'll be chill then. Just kidding. If I'm not chill by now, there's no hope. But a little bit more chill because I've started to vibrate with excitement a little bit, and that makes it really hard to be chill. Yesterday, I had a hard time with chill. I left karaoke early because resume was deep on my mind. I just knew it was something that I had to take care of. I was remiss to leave early, but next time I'd just like to structure time a little better, but also there's nothing I could have really done differently. I'm only human. Sometimes you have to be an adult, and so I had to stop having fun as much as I wanted to be able to, and spending time with the fish, it was very hard leaving that early. And I was such a sad boy, but I knew, has to be job applications, you gotta do this, and then that also kind of led into an interview this morning, which was interesting. And even if I don't get this job, having that talking point with other jobs and just working on it and being like, yes, I am making progress here, that feels really good. And it was a necessary step. And once I step out of myself in the sad moment of, I don't want to have to leave karaoke early, that's very sad. But the big step, like, you step out and it's like, yeah, just applications were moving, like, this is good. Then I got really excited about the positive step, not just sad. So there we go. I'm in a daily address right now on stream, and I don't have anything else I'm particularly up to. I gave the updates. I have stream, like, I've been doing this. I've learned more about structuring this and then Resonite after for the times when I have stream. Like, when I have time to stream in Resonite and specific plans and things in line. There's a game I might want to play today, because it's Tuesday, and I had a thought of TED Talk Tuesday, where I would be in Resonite, and there's a command you guys can enter. If you say exclamation point idea, and then whatever you say, that spawns a sticky note in a little hat that is whatever you said. And so for TED Talk Tuesday, we would go, and you guys would just make all of your sticky notes. Everyone would get one idea, one sticky note. And then either I would go one at a time and talk about those subjects, but I think it sounds kind of fun for TED Talk Tuesday, where everyone would have an idea and we pull them all out from the hat, and then the TED Talk is just, how can we put all of those ideas together into one TED Talk? And then I would just talk about whatever the thing is. That sounds like a lot of fun. And then maybe it could also be like, oh, you get a subject, and then you get a subject. I don't know for sure, but for me it sounds kind of fun to just, we'll do it all. Or structure out, like if you guys have 7 ideas for a TED Talk, then what bullet points could possibly put it all together. Or you just make an abomination of, like, you tell a story or something, but that just sounds kind of cute. And that's something I might want to do in Resonite today, or fiddle about with, because I don't want all of my streams to be so serious, and sometimes my daily addresses can get pretty serious. That's fine. But I'm looking forward to, in Resonite, playing around a little bit and being more casual over there, which is, again, something that we learned yesterday. The reason I bring any of this up is I gave my updates, and I feel like there's not a whole lot more to say on the Phineas Former front. I don't feel like I need to get emotional. I got emotional yesterday, and I'm just permanently emotional anyway. This is like fun kitty cat time, and being emotional can be fun too. I'm not afraid of that, but I just feel like doing other things because I just got a big day going on today, and I want to, have some fun. And for me, this is fun. But since I'm out of things to talk about specifically that are mine, I might as well talk about VR. Like, if you guys have questions, we're here. Like, what do you... I will give you VR class right now. If there's any questions of any sort like that front, that's the sort of thing I'd be happy to talk about, honestly. I'm just going to check, not for any particular reason, how long stream's been so far, because we are on target. We got our 28 minutes of stream, and some of that was like the loading screen. But this is about what you like to see, where I got my thoughts out, my little baba, which was just the updates. We're moving soon, things about stream that I'm learning. Socially, could talk a little bit more about my social updates, and that's just that I've been social. I brought it up briefly, that going furniture shopping and having Amelia help me set up a little set design. It's not done, but it's the basics. It's there. The basis is there. And then I was really happy that Decoy also came into the world, and we just had a brief little like chat, talked loosely about some ideas, and that connection also is going quite nicely. And then the several times I like popping in, and I don't always connect with Dwaggy when he's building stuff in that world, but I like the good old hi Dwaggy, bye Dwaggy, and it's just comfortable. And he says hi Phineas, bye Phineas, and it's a cute and comfortable vibe. And spending more of this casual time in Resonite being more social, that's been wildly fulfilling for me. So, more of that on the way, and that's it for my social updates, actually. The only other thing being, I'm struggling a bit because I just want to be more social, and I've been really getting into VR, even more than I have been, which is strange because I'm, in a way, not doing any less or more VR than I used to. Not more, because I guess I have been doing it really consistently for a while, but I'm approaching it with a more, having to restrict the amount of time I'm in VR has made me really appreciate and crave it much more, and actually find ways to seek it out, which is a really cool unintended consequence. Yeah, reducing how much time I spend, like, basically on streams talking to myself and you good people at home has done wonders for how can I structure other parts of my days and life to get into VR more in other ways also. That's been such a cool thing to see. Cool little side effect. And I don't know for sure if stream will continue or not. I do want to, because I'm here to be able to switch quickly out of daily address into Resonite times, and I'm in Steam Link to facilitate that. So we might as well do that to see what the cadence feels like, and then probably I would close out stream inside of Resonite, only when daily address is complete. To that end, I don't know that daily address has to last for the whole entire hour, because the idea is just that streams would be on for an hour, and it would be part of the daily address, but the stream itself can be whatever it is that I would want it to be. So I'm going to take a second and consider that thing that I just said, because I think there might be something a little bit interesting there. We're going to let the word cannon load. And I could not explain to you why, but I feel like it's going to take a few minutes for the word cannon to load. So I'm going to actually just run a 3-minute ad break right now, because I need to spend about that much time loading the word cannon anyway. And then that kills pre-rolls, which is just like the good streamer thing to do, and we've got the time. And I might decide to switch into Resonite a little bit early, probably not, but that would be something I would want to talk about in either case, as well as perhaps how I feel like the daily addresses have been going for this month so far, even though there's only really been like 4 of them or so, and then with the weekend and all that. Amelia, welcome back. We are just about to take a 3-minute ad break, though, so I can like really assess the situation of what comes next in the stream, and do I want to move to Resonite and stuff like that. So, welcome back, but also, I'll see you again in 3 minutes when I come back. It would mean more if I had my eye and face tracking equipped, which I do not, but that's okay. Alright, so ad break I think is over. Welcome back. You saw nothing. You saw nothing, you missed nothing. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's nothing. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I figured it out, is we haven't been serious yet. And this is something I still want to learn a little bit more about. Because I want to be able to be casually serious without being a downer. And so I was in a pretty down position this morning, and it's still this morning, but woke up in a rough space because last night I went to bed in a rough space because I had to leave karaoke and I did job applications. I don't know, and that was but then also the position changed. I had my friend was slated to come in and take over my lease, but then as it turns out, my roommate is also actually moving out soon. So now no one has to take over any leases because the lease is up anyway. So I had to also call my friend last night and be like, hey, by the way, sorry, your hopes and dreams are crushed. You don't have a chance to move in anyway. And he was like, oh, that's fine. And I was like, wait, what? You were so excited. Oh, that's fine. And as it turns out, we had a decent conversation about him and his status as just being able to be fine when things are not fine. I was more worried about it than he was, and he was really excited for that life step. And he just has, because he always had a lot of calm energy, and as it turns out, so does my partner. So we had a conversation, and he didn't realize how cool his superpower of stoicism was. And I said, that's a deeply desirable trait. That's why I'm moving across the country to be with the guy who does what you do. That's really cool. And he's like, oh, I guess. So I glowed him up a little bit. But then also I gained insight about the fish a little bit, which was just really cool. And it was a great conversation, but it was also a lot for me to have to say, hey, by the way, plans changed. Sorry. And then that was also me adapting to my own plans, which is, again, part of moving, becoming more real, which, reconciling that. Also, stream is still paused. Oops. That is deeply embarrassing. That's okay. We're not too worried about these things. Sometimes we are. We used to be a lot more worried about those things than we are right now. It's okay. It's okay. So, we'll think about that. We'll table that idea, because stream's still got, like, what, we got 20 minutes? At least 20 minutes. I can do a little bit more than 20 minutes, and that was a little bit slated, actually. So, we'll see what happens after we get just a little bit serious. Because I was really emotional, there was a lot of things going on. Applications, karaoke, phone call, hey, by the way, you can't move in, and then... Or he could still, but it just looks much more messy. And then waking up, and it was just a lot going on. I was very emotional. And I had written out some notes about what would be an emotional stream. And I was just feeling really down. I don't want to. And I wanted to be able to pay respect to that. And I was prepared to come into stream and have a downer energy and be unafraid to express that, even though I wasn't sure what that expression would look like or what would come out the other end. Yesterday, I had similarly down energy, and I spent an entire hour talking about elements of mysticism a little bit, and some of why I've been experiencing challenge in my current position, because I don't know what the future holds. I don't think I'm supposed to, but accepting that I don't know those things is just kind of a lot. I don't like being human, so that's why I'm a kitty cat, but sometimes I have to still accept that I don't actually know everything, and I am in fact human. That's a bummer, but we accept these things. You know, that's just totally okay. It is time to sit down, and then we're going to be quasi-serious, because I think I actually brought up all of the things that were down, and I don't feel down now. And I want to talk a little bit about that, because had I pursued the down zone... Alright, so we're going to sit down, we're going to index my play space, sit down in the direction of the AC unit, which I did finally install, which was part of the sorrow of yesterday in a really big way, actually. Yesterday was a huge bummer, and a little bit of that was... beep, 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 beep. We're going to go casual. We're taking off the auto roll. We're going hand framing on this one, baby. Is this a daily address or what? Look, we're so unserious. And every now and then you love that in your daily address. So, this is just going to be a moment of what if? Because I think that's interesting, and all I do is thought experiments, and we're here on our daily address, so we might as well do a thought experiment. I think that would be a fun treat for us both. And today's thought experiment is going to be not like a simple what if, because there's not a single question of the what if. It's more a ball of multiple questions, and I just kind of want to poke at it for a little bit. I'm not trying to figure anything out. There's not a problem I need to solve. This is just, I want to poke at it, because there's a ball of emotion here. I just want to poke at it. So that's what we're going to do for a little bit. And the thing that we're going to poke at, I'm going to just rapid fire out a few questions, and then remember, we're not going to answer any of them. We're just going to poke around. Because what if I had done the live stream I was prepared to do 2 hours ago, and I was getting ready for it because I was really emotional. I was convinced I would be that emotional for the rest of my life, that that was my eternity. Things are always going to be this way. I always feel that way. I can't help it. What does it look like when I encapsulate that temporary emotion state in a permanent form? Because if I maintain the integrity of these daily addresses, which I insist upon myself that I do, so you can get the fullness of what it is to be Phineas Former. And he's moody, he goes up and down, streams must go up and down. But also, my emotion states are always fleeting. And I still don't know where my levels of comfortability are with when I encapsulate forever temporary I don't want to and be so serious and so down about something because my emotions spike a whole bunch. So what if I display a spike? It's kept permanent. It's just there forever. Everyone can see my spike. And I'm not worried about that. But that feels like putting out rough energy into the world. Especially because 1 hour for daily address is not very long. And sometimes my spikes can last a while. And I don't ever want to take someone into a space that I can't take them out of. So I don't want to spike really negative and then you just have a negative video. That's bad. That's no good. That is a bad time. That is down to Goblin Town. That's a bad time. And had I carried through with that emotional stream that I was prepared to do because I woke up as an emotion boy, I was just so emotional this morning. I had really sad eggs because Speck wasn't awake yet and I didn't want to wake him up, and then I felt lonely because I left our date night early so I could do job applications because I had to be an adult, and I was just going through so much. My head was so complicated this morning. And had I gone through that live stream and forever encapsulated those emotions, I would not have been able to come out of it the other end. And to what extent is it being honest with yourself, and I do a daily address at 8 o'clock in the morning, and what happens happens, and it's there for the keeping, and anyone can see it forever because it's a permanent part of the journey which is being displayed with how I choose to operate these daily addresses. I don't love that, and it seems, it could be at least, that by talking through and talking about those negative emotion states is going to keep you or else reinforce the negative emotion state. I think that stands to reason. That honestly, that's just, I think that's just a fact. That's a regular thing. You're keeping yourself in that space when that's the language that you're using. You have to be sad to talk about sad. Kind of. That's an impulse I really had today, and I'm grateful because Spec and I did end up connecting ever so briefly, and that just always perks me right up. But I just woke up earlier because I was up late. It was just a thing. And such a complicated boy. And then he says like 3 sentences on the Discord call, and I was like, okay, wahoo. I'm so simple. I'm so simple. Are you kidding me with how simple I am? But I always forget how simple I am. So when I'm being really dramatic in the mornings and I want to make a dramatic stream because I'm dramatic and I want to be honest with how dramatic I am, those are the times I look back on with no fondness. And the past several streams, I've tuned into all of them. I've been really excited with how the daily addresses have gone. And the last one, granted, time was very short yesterday, but I know I was just emotional. I had to get something out. It was an honest video and not one that I want to go back and look upon. Because it was one of those, sometimes you need to be able to get those out and display that honesty with just what you're feeling. And something like that's something I need to be able to get out now and then. But especially when it's not something I can bring back from, because an hour is not very long, I don't know what that has to look like. And I don't even think that's a question of lack of belief in myself, or, I want positive vibes only, and, oh, I'm sorry for being such a downer, I'll delete this VOD, or whatever bullshit that is. No, I hate that. Just leave it in. Leave it in. It's okay. Leave it in. I don't know. And like I said, there's not an answer for that. It's stuff I'm working through right now, and I think it's okay for there not to be an answer. But talking about the system of not knowing what to do with it, I think does help to inform me that there is a system that I don't know what to do with. And I think that's just an interesting thing to consider and pay respect to. And I think that's all I wanted to say about that. It just seemed like an interesting thing to poke around at, and I did for a little bit. And now I'm just going to set it aside and let that kind of cook on the back burner a little bit, because maybe in the background it can process, because I don't think I'll reach anything valuable by tearing it apart some more. It was just something I wanted to look at, and so I did. What have you guys been saying while I was there? I think we're going to go, we're going to go remember like the good times. Because one of the things I thought about earlier in the stream was the good times. I wanted to talk about the good times. But then I want to also discuss that theming and the nostalgia behind looking at something fondly, but if it was fond in the moment or not. And then using that theory that I want to uncover now, could we apply the knowledge in any amount to today's actions? Because I come to you with a firm understanding. I will look back on these moments with such fondness. Look at him figuring it out, being brave, doing the new thing, the thing that scared him or terrified him, doing his daily addresses, even though he didn't know what they meant or what it was turning into. How could he have known? He was just swimming around in the landscapes of himself, having a good time, and I wish I could go back to that. I'm living the moments that I will wish I could return to. These are the good times, right now. So, to try and learn more about that, I'm going to go to one of the recent good times of a handful of days ago, and just think about it. And maybe it's going to be another little thing I just want to poke around at. I don't think there's going to be an answer, but I want to go to a good time and then think about the good times and see if I can make today one of the good times. So we're going to go to the good time, and the good time is back there. It's inside the campfire that we went to on accident, I think on the first daily address. I think is when we accidentally went to this campfire. And at the time, it was the worst thing that ever happened to me. And now it's the good times. So I want to go and just talk about that, and we're going to go do that for the end of stream. And then it will be the end of stream, and I don't know what's going to happen after that, but it's going to be good. So let's go to the fire. They say it's good to go over 3 good things in your life daily. I like that. And is that so simple as I'll wait till I load in so you can see my pretty face as I talk? Ah, there's the pretty boy. Is that the... So, like, 3 good things is I have a job interview today, which is progress towards moving, and that's a good thing. I'm moving in with my boyfriend, which is a good thing. Spec is a good thing. And I'm on a live stream, my daily address, which is one of my favorite places ever, one of my favorite times of day. So right there, that's 3 good things. I said it really rapid fire. Does that count, or do I need to spend more time? Because I was never someone to do like the gratitude journal. Did I do it right just then, or do I have to spend more time on it? Miss Amelia, who does the 3 good things. What's your take on it? Because I would like to know information about your take on it. It's taking a while for us to get to the fire, for the audio inclined. Because I'm sitting down, and it takes a while to get anywhere in VR chat when you're sitting down. This is what it looks like. I'm just sitting down, crisscross applesauce, and just kind of like hovering around a little bit. And it's taking a while because I'm just hovering around crisscross applesauce. But every now and then you gotta be crisscross applesauce on your streaming times. It's important. Ooh, Look at that glow. Look at that glow. Is that a boy who's living the good times or what, man? Noting what is good feels good, little gratitudes. I like that a lot, and that honestly bleeds directly into where we just barely were, like what I said I wanted to talk about. It's perfect. The little gratitudes, thinking about good things brings about good things. And talking about good things brings about good things. Because just earlier, I was making mention that I think talking about the negative things, while tempting because it feels like paying honesty to yourself, keeps you in the negative things. Because you have to be sad to talk about sad. Or talking about sad brings about sad because you're talking about sad. Interesting that if you want to be happy, you would talk about happy, even if you're sad. There's an incongruity there, and that doesn't feel very good. However, that is the way to reset pathways. Pretty simple stuff. To be afraid, it's how I learned being social. Being afraid of doing social things in VR and doing them anyway sucks. And your brain doesn't want that. So either you must leave the circumstance that your brain despises, or your brain must rewire to no longer despise. Because you're in a situation that just is causing pain, and it's untenable. Nose itchy? No, you can't itch nose. I'm busy. Yeah, I'm busy. For the audio inclined, I lost everything I was about to say. I forgot everything about who I am because I had to itch my nose. I'm so simple. I'm so simple. Was this the location for the Too Much Coffee video? I don't know if it was the Too Much Coffee video or not. Sid, welcome on in. One of mine today is my lunch, leftover ramen. That is a little gratitude, and that's actually really sweet. I like that. I liked helping you yesterday because I feel like so many of my Resonate projects are self-focused. Oh, see, I appreciate that too, because that's something that I'm working on in my life in a really big way too. It's not just projects, but my whole life, I think, is so self-focused. Trackers. I'm busy, trackers. I'm like super busy right now. I'm super busy. What do you, trackers? You're crazy. And hanging out yesterday was living a life that was less self-focused. And I didn't love that you had come over to help, but I was like, oh, let's go say hi to Dwaggy. Let's go work on these other things too. Because that's just like Resonite things. That just happens. I don't think that was the most social grace, and I'm still learning more about being social in VR with people who are not my boyfriend. But it felt great to open myself up to working with other people and doing something collaboratively. Was really fun because I live so much of my life thinking about myself, talking about myself. I'm literally doing it now, and I'm about to continue. We're about to keep talking about the thing that I said that we were going to talk about, which is the campfire moment. I'm excited about that. And that's about me. I'm talking about my nostalgia of the time that I came in here on accident. I don't know if it was the Too Much Coffee video, CV. I don't know if I had too much coffee on that day or not. But it is the world where I accidentally came into this world and everything was the worst, and then I corrected it. I don't know if that was too much coffee or something. Yeah. So we will hydrate because Sid redeemed the hydrate. I have to go get my water, which is not well planned out. If I was planned out in my sitting down times, I would have had water next to me. And I was not professional. I was not a professional. And that's something that they say about Phineas Former, is he's consistently not a professional. So actually, I kept within my branding, which is good, because sometimes I'm accidentally, I think, starting to have fun. And that's against my branding also. So, a lot of changes, a lot of things going on. And the change right now is I'm going to go get my water bottle. And then I think we're going to tidy up a little bit of like the gratitudes thing. Because I think we might be onto something there. And I think that will lead into our fire moment where I want to talk about nostalgia and then it's going to be about time for the daily address to be done, because it's been an hour, but, aha, it is my weekend. So a stream can go a little bit long on a weekend if you want to. I just have to be done in time to do my phone interview, so I've got a little bit of time. Stream can't go on much longer, though, because then I'll have to pack, and if it was karaoke again, then I'd have to cut karaoke short so I could keep doing the other things that I have to do today, because you have to take time from somewhere because there's just not a lot of time. I'm moving soon, and today's objective for moving is going to be starting to go through my closet and figuring out a bit of, like, the books. I'm going to sort those into piles of just, these are the ones I'm going to get rid of. The clothes, I want to fill up just 1 or 2 bags of, these are the things I'm donating. That's what I want to do today. And I can totally do that. There's time to do that, so stream can't last forever, but it can last a little bit longer than 1 hour, which is good, because we're about 1 hour in, and we're nowhere near done, baby. The words, hoo boy. The words, excuse me, no, the words cannot stop. Not even long enough to go hydrate, apparently. Guys, I have to hydrate. I'll be right back. I am going to move the camera just a little bit, and then I'll adjust for the video and for the audio inclined. I assure you, the little fire glow that I have right now is so gosh darn cozy. And we still have our framing, which is not professional. Sometimes I like the framing to be, you have auto level on and all that. And it's like, nope, this is daily address time. We are sitting crisscross applesauce, and we're going to continue with our discussion times because we have such good discussion going on right now. And actually, when I stack together what we're talking about now, the incongruity of talking happy when you're feeling sad, I think I can enact that easily, because I meditate anyway, and usually that's just allow the sad to settle down, not come to pass, because that makes it sound like you have to wait out the bad times, and that feels powerless. The more guided you can be, like the more concentratedly you can do nothing, that's a lot of energy that your brain can use to just do what it needs to do and work through whatever the thing is that just happened. But I think inside of that process, it's easy enough not to push out the bad thing, but to bring in the good thing, because that's a form of meditation, I want to say. I think I can work that in. And I'm going to start trying to do that more. The next time I have to just be overwhelmed and sit on the floor. Right now I'm sitting on the floor, but it's a happy time because it's a daily address. And you just get so happy that sometimes you have to sit on the floor and be cozy next to the fire that we're still going to talk about before the stream is over. And we have to get on to the fire moment soon. And I think that's a good gratitude situation. And talking myself out loud through those things, whether I'm in a good mood or a bad mood or anything like that, I think that's just good practice. So I might try doing that on stream right now, actually, because it's not the sort of thing I do, and I like doing things that are new. And I like doing them on stream lately, actually, apparently. So I brought it up real quick, rapid fire, when Amelia brought the idea to mind now. But I want to linger on it and spend a little bit more time and do it real, not just throw it out there. Here's a few sentences of the idea. Is this the right idea? Let's be a little bit more real with it. So, top gratitude, absolutely. I'm gonna gush about my boyfriend for a little bit. Hopefully, you guys are fine with that. And whatever, I'm the lucky goose who got it. I don't talk about that. It's braggartly. It's because I've spent a lot of my life being alone, and now I'm not. I don't know, man. I lucked the heck out. I'm so emotional, and not only does Spec not mind, he appreciates it. What? I don't even appreciate myself. I'm nuts. And he's super duper supportive. And that's like all I really actually feel like saying, because I could talk good things about him forever, but I have to do those. I need to save some of the good things for later. But very grateful, very good. That is a very positive aspect of my life right now. And in so many ways I can't even describe. Like I said earlier on our Discord call, he said I think 3 sentences before we had to go because I had stream, he had to get ready for work, and they just cheered me up. I got in such a good mood. Are you kidding me? And that's a tremendous influence in my life. I also brought up that streaming, I like streaming a lot, and what's happening right now has been a tremendous influence in my life because I get to be a kitty cat. I'm sitting crisscross applesauce. I have my legs. This is my blue leg. And then this is my leg, which is not the blue leg. But I'm sitting crisscross applesauce in virtual. No foot. No tracker. No, that was very close to displaying my bean foot. You're on thin ice, foot. It's not good. So that's actually one of the unhappy things. No, it's fun, man. And this is cool. And the full light blocker. We'll just actually say I'm very grateful for the full light blocker that I have, because it's a game changer. Even if right now I don't have the full roster of my eye and face tracking, I certainly have enough. And I don't know, man. Little kitty cat boy, and it feels more like being me. Like, this is awesome. And it's something that Spec got for me, so that just also bleeds into being grateful for my partner. But it's something that helps stream feel really nice and helps me in the mornings feel more like me, be in tune with the things that I love. And this moment, everything about it is excellent. And I'm just going to say physically, that part of being on stream, I'm grateful for being able to be in tune with my virtual form and spend time as a cat to make that time for myself in the mornings. That's something I'm grateful for. And now we're going to expand it out because I'm also grateful for you good people at home. Because not only do I get to be a kitty cat, but I get to use my words as a kitty cat. And there's people who enjoy my words, who are here presently, and we're hanging out in our little community on our live stream. And that's really freaking cool. I'm using the words, and people are like, oh, he's using the words. Everyone, quickly, have you heard the news? Phineas. He's using the words. Ah, yeah, man. That's really cool. That's heckin' cool. And I'm extremely grateful for that. And I don't spend enough time talking about that because that's the coolest thing ever. And when people say that something I've said has helped them or they were able to do something with it, I get comments like that in some recent ones too. It's a game changer. It means so much to me. And for there to be people who enjoy the words that I say, and I get to say them as a kitty cat. So that's what streaming means to me. So streaming is double awesome at a minimum. So I wanted to be double grateful for being here. So I broke it into 2 pieces, and then also my partner, who gave me a lot of the encouragement to be able to be here in the first place. And a lot of the push towards community, which helped bring me here. And those are 3 things I wanted to be grateful about because Amelia brought up the 3 gratitudes thing on stream, and I wanted to see it through. And so I did. That was a lot of fun. That was a good section. I liked that a lot. Thank you for bringing that section about. And I think I will do what I just barely did more frequently because it felt really good, actually. Who knew that talking about the good things would feel good? Who even knew, man? We have one thing to do still. And that's good because then I'll be able to tidy up, get out of VR, and get into interview mode. Because right now I'm like a kitty cat, and I want to impress everyone as a kitty cat. And I think I want to impress my prospective employer as a human, as a well put together professional. So we have one more thought for us on this daily address, and then we're going to be done. I think we can dive right into that. And I think we'll probably just go ahead and get right to it. For the audio inclined of us, I moved a little bit closer to the fire, so the glow has increased. And I'm still sitting crisscross applesauce with a fun little framing. The camera is like a little above me, a little down. I just look cute as a button, which is good because sometimes I'm actually a gremlin based on the framing. And so right now, this is one of the few times that I look. Aha! We're very pleased. And once again, the reason that we are here is because I'm pretty sure it was the first of our daily addresses that were called such. I accidentally came here, and it felt like a cataclysm. And there's some videos I chopped up about that on the video channel or whatever. And it turned out okay, but I had to talk for I think 20 or 25, 30 minutes or something about the travesty of being here on accident because it really messed up my plans. But that was a fun time. That was a fun moment, a fun video. And then I did some platforming on some of the logs and I talked up there for a little bit. That was a really fun time, and I actually really enjoyed that moment and how I handled that moment. And I do want to work once more towards the nostalgia angle on that. Eventually, that feels a little bit too much like a machination. And when I try to think through something and then apply a piece of logic to an emotional concept, it never works. And what I would want to do is see how to turn the present moment into the good times I know I'm going to look back on them with, or whatever. And then I think actually we accidentally did that by talking about the 3 gratitudes thing. So the whole reason for being here is actually moot. Oops. Oops. Oops, we ruined it. There's nothing more to say. We'll see it through all the way, though. We'll stay here. We will linger, and we will complete the quest. The idea there being that not even a week ago, I think. Maybe it was about a week. I don't remember for sure. I think it was not even a week ago. It's been recent in any case. I was here, unhappy, and I operated inside of that moment to the best of my ability. I made a judgment call based on several factors which were recent to me. I used the information that was at hand, made a call. I was happy with the call looking back on it, even though in the moment I was uncertain with what it meant. And I look back on that with a fondness. In the moment, it was not fond. A little panicked. With the energy of, you gotta do something. You gotta figure it out, you gotta make a choice. And so I made a choice. And even just now, on stream, I was talking about the challenge I've felt with how last night went. I had to leave karaoke early. I did some job applications instead of hanging out with Spec. And then I had to break some bad news to a friend. And it was kind of a rough time. But I had to make that snap decision when I wasn't feeling karaoke because I knew there were other things on my mind. I needed to get applications in, which turned out to be a good thing because now I have an interview lined up right away, which is super cool, and that's great progress too. And I had to make that snap decision in the moment. I'm in karaoke. I'm not enjoying myself right now because I was there for as long as I could. It was about an hour or so that I was really having a nice time there, and then I just felt like it was time to move on, even though I did not want to. And I made that snap decision because it's like, look, well, you gotta make a choice. Instead of being here in limbo, I'm not enjoying my time in karaoke, I should be somewhere else. So either go somewhere else and work on your applications, or acknowledge I'm choosing to do applications later. I'm going to be here with my partner and be fully present. I believe that if that had been my decision, I know enough of my operations to be able to pull that off. To set aside the things I was telling myself I wanted to be able to do in order to just be present with my partner. For a long time, I would never have been able to do that. So feeling like I could, that's a really nice boost as well. That's one of the things I'm grateful for. But I had to make that snap decision, and I still feel a little conflicted about it because I just love spending time with Spec, but it was in service of being able to secure that future because just, you have to be an adult sometimes. It's not that big of a deal. It feels like a big deal, but it's fine. Sometimes you have to just spend less time at karaoke because you have to do a job application. Sometimes that just happens. That's life. That's okay. That's not a problem. That's the design of life. That's just a thing. It's fine. Looking back on that now, I'm satisfied with the snap decision that I made because it went well. It more than according to plan, but I was able to secure part of the future that I've needed to secure. And it was another one of those times where I had to make a decision. I didn't love it because I was in a position of challenge, and even as I saw it through, and for a time after, I wasn't the happiest boy. Being here in the campfire world kind of reminds me of that principle. And I have chosen to apply that principle to what happened last night, which I still feel a little agitated over. But first of all, talking through it and talking about the good things that came of the moment, because we're experiencing gratitude these days. I say these days, it's like 30 minutes we've been trying it out. I don't know for sure, but I kind of like it. I think it helps me get over the challenge a little bit faster, recognizing that I stand now in a space that was once full of challenge and has since become a good time. Because I love the little videos that came of that moment, and I love remembering how I handled it, and I remember being him. I remember Phineas Former. A week ago, he was so fresh. He was a little baby boy. Oh, God bless Phineas Former. He was so sweet, so innocent. I love that. And I think that's about where the whole train of thought has to end. At least for the moment. Because my temptation is to try and turn that into a present thing. I want to take that and where does it go from now? Like, how can we apply it to the present moment? And it stands to reason if twice in recent history I was going through a challenge and I now look back on those challenges with a fondness. And even last night, I now recognize as a little bit fond because it's nice to look back on something that I was worried about and then I can say, oh, honey, it's fine. I was trying. I did my best. What was I worried about? And that's happening now. And down the line, because you can scope out, because all of life is microcosms. I'll look back on what I was doing a year ago, and I that whole month span when it took me about a month to edit my first video. I had to do it in small chunks, and I got high for parts of it because it was too raw for me to handle. And I wanted to be inebriated to come at it from a better stance because while I was sober, handling that expression of who I am was so hard. And then I would go back when I was sober and rewatch it. And how did the cuts go? And I had to go, here was the beginning, and then the first 10 minutes I did, and then the next 10 minutes was too much for me. So I found a different section, and I didn't know my patterns of speech, so I was overwhelmed with, what am I even saying? How do I chop this out so it's watchable for myself, and then for an audience too, and am I really gonna post this? And now, that's just a standard video. That first video is within my style. Easy money. That's just run-of-the-mill. But it took me about a month to get to that point. I look back on that entire month with a deep fondness, because I was doing my best. Struggling guy, you got this. It's gonna be alright, and sure enough it was. Better than alright. Because now we're here. Look at me go, baby. This is the best thing ever. During that month, I was miserable. And I was being brave, but I was so scared. And after work, I would just have to open it and think about it. I was trying so hard to get out of myself. And And I love that, you know? I love that boy. That was so sweet. Phineas Former, you did it. Good for you, man. Good job. Good job. And you can scope in on any one of those days and be satisfied with the decisions I made on any day to when I wanted to edit and made myself edit, when I wanted to hide away from it. And those were individually successful days that stacked together into a month I look back on with fondness. The period of time I'm in right now, not just the days, not just yesterday, not a week ago when I was in this world last, I look at those with fondness. But I'm inside of the month I will look back on fondness. Because this is a month where we decided I'm going to move in with Spec. I have about a month to get ready. And one of the things I knew I had to do to get ready was organize and sort out how I'm handling my creative endeavors. Being a cat is so fucking important to me. What does that have to look like to pull it off and be as satisfied as possible? Because I only have an hour to do this, effectively. Let's make it a good one. And I will look back on this month. I already look back on this month so far with a fondness. And I'm excited for the retrospective of what this will bring. So I don't know how to carry in the mentality during a period of challenge that I will look back on this with a fondness. It certainly helps to look at the past, the fondnesses I feel of myself in the past. That helps. And I think it also helps to have something cool to work towards and look forward to. And right now that's moving in with Spec, of course, but then also figuring out more about my creative endeavors. And I'm excited to see what the month brings. And everything I've been struggling with and being more casually social and opening myself up to collaboration, that's been really hard for me, and I'm really proud of myself every time I make that decision. And it stands to reason if I keep making those small, difficult choices that I'm happy with, then I'll be able to look back on a month from now and be really satisfied. That's challenging because in the moment, I don't want to have to just be doing hard things all of the time. That feels like an unforgiving life. It feels impossible to work through. It's hard to handle. And taking time now and then to examine the zoomed out version of what's going on and the progress that I have made, I think that's a ticket into respecting the present moments a little better by remembering that they're part of the bigger picture, which I will look back on with fondness because I look back on so much of my life with fondness. I think that might help pull my head out of my butt sometimes, because I don't want to miss the present moment if they're going to keep stacking into something I'm really going to be proud of. That's all that I wanted to say, I think, about that general vibe, as it's definitely time for stream to be done, and I'm really happy with where that thought landed. So we're going to just be done with that thought. I think it was a really good thought, and I can't wait for that to chew a little bit more in the background, and I'm glad we saw it through, because I wasn't sure what we would find. I didn't think we'd find anything, but I'm actually really happy with where we went. So that was a good time. Wahoo! Alright, well thank you guys for hanging out for that one. We kept it some babble. Kept it some babble, and for a little bit I was really shy about the babble that I would be doing, because it felt like a lot of babble. And sometimes, you remember, I don't love being so serious on streams, because I don't want to be ignoring you guys, and I want to be more interactive, and I want to be like one of the furry streamers. And it's like, no, I want to be me. And today, this is what me looked like. And I kind of liked it. We were a little bit everywhere. We had our updates, what Phineas is doing. We were a little bit honest and emotional, and then we opened ourselves up to discussion, which yielded the excellent 3 good things. I did something new on stream, which was the 3 good things, and I was really happy with how that went. And then I stuck to my guns when I said I wanted to examine the fire moment, and then we did that too. Really happy with all of it. And I hope that you guys were too. It was a fun stream, and I thoroughly just kind of enjoyed it. And I, of course, still have other thoughts about where they go from here and what's coming up. But all of those are just things that will happen, because I was just talking about that, like literally just now. You know, it happens when it happens. Why am I trying to rush the future? These things take time, and the future is happening now because these moments are going to stack together and become the retrospective. And because this moment stacks with the future moments, this is part of the future. And all I have to do is live in the moment and make this a really good moment, because it's going to stack automatically. And if I just keep making the moments really good and making the decisions which are going to be good, or at least trying to, then I think that's only going to lead to the positive things. And I started today in a negative space, and now I'm actually just really pleased. You are very welcome. Thanks for tuning in, dear Spec. Hopefully I was able to glow you up a little bit, because you're one of my gratitudes, and you helped me reach my other 2 gratitudes of today. So thank you. Good fish. And thanks to everyone else for hanging out too. Really appreciate it. Always fun having you around. And we're going to be back same time tomorrow. I did say that we would experiment with moving into Resonite after this. But that would ruin the really awesome place that we landed off for the stream. So we are going to end the stream, and then I'm going to like go into Resonite just to see what a switch looks like, how long it takes. I'm going to be a little investigative boy anyway. But it is time for the stream to be done. So I'm going to stand up, and we're going to be done. And thank you guys for hanging out. And about the same time tomorrow, and then keep an eye on the VOD channel, Phineas Farmer Longer, where I'm going to try and chop this up. It'll be phone interview, and then I'll treat the VOD and just do the rough cut, because I can't spend much time on it, because then I get to work on packing or unpacking and just sorting out some things, and then I'll be free for the rest of the day. And I don't know what that's going to look like. It'll be Resonite, probably, because I do want to figure out some more Resonite things, and that's going to be a lot of fun too. So good things on the day. I hope you guys have a really good day though, and I will talk to you guys later.